Hello students, welcome to our online video tutorial class. As you have seen the previous video, I have made entirely on the chapter morphology of flowering plant and specifically from the portion of the flower. So in this specific video I will be discussing with you regarding the fruit, and this is the last floral part, or you can say rather the part of any of the plant. So we know that fruit is the matured form of the ovary, because when the ovary is getting matured, it is forming the fruit, and inside the ovary whatever the ovules are present, they will be forming the seed. First of all, we need to know what is eucarp. Eucarp is actually the after fertilization, when the ovary creates fruit, okay, then ovule creates seed, and automatically this specific ovary creates fruit and ovule creates seed. This is actually known as eucarp. Then parthenocarpic fruit, what is that? Parthenocarpic fruit is a type of the fruit which is seedless. Okay, so seedless fruit formation is commonly performed by the process of parthenocarpy. Pseudocarp is when the other floral part is associated with the pericarp. Other floral part means I am talking about the thalamus or receptacle, calyx, corolla. These specific portions are not commonly producing the pericarp. Actually, the pericarp is produced from the ovarian wall. So when the other parts are also associated with this to make the pericarp, then it is known as pseudocarp. Next, pericarp, the mature wall of the ovary, is known as the pericarp. We all know pericarp is actually made up of three distinct layers. Whatever the three distinct layers are present, one is outer one, that is epicarp, the middle one, that is the fleshy part what we are eating, that is the mesocarp, and the innermost one, that is, you can say, just above the seed coat it is present, that is the endocarp. So there are three specific layers surrounding the seed portion of the present in the fruit, that is outer one epicarp, then the middle mesocarp, and then inner endocarp. Whatever the function of the fruit, we can see: protect the seed in immature condition. When the seed is present in immature condition within the fruit, obviously protection is the main function. Dispersal of the seed in distant places. Keep it in your mind, the seeds which are present inside the fruit, the dispersal in different places, distant places, that is exclusively dependent on the fruit structure. Fruit has economical valuation also, because by selling the fruit, obviously any specific person can earn money. So obviously the fruits are having economical value. Fruits are obviously consumed as a food, because fruits are the rich source of the minerals and nutrients like vitamins, as well as the fruit can be the source of sugar. Fruit can be the source of the pectin as well as organic acid. So these are the total functions of the fruit which we can see commonly. Now let's see the ideal structure of the fruit. You can see in the next slide ideal structure of the fruit. This is the apple. Specifically you can see the outer portion, outer red color layer is present, that is actually known as exocarp or epicarp. Then there is a fleshy portion, whatever we are eating, that is mesocarp, and then there is a presence of the layer, that is endocarp, and inside that the seed is present, and these three layers are collectively known as pericarp, because it is actually surrounding the seed structure, that's why it is known as pericarp. So it is a fruit structure actually where the three layers are found. Now we have come to the seed. We all know this is the ripened fertilized ovule that is actually forming the seed. Keep it in your mind, the embryo within the seed is formed by the embryonal axis. So because within the seed the embryonal axis is present and the embryo is forming within that only. Keep it in your mind, the seed contains the radicle from where the root is arising or the root is created, and the plumule part is present, which is forming the shoot in future. So the radicle is forming the root and plumule is forming the shoot, we all know. Keep it in your mind, in case of seed there are maybe one or two embryonic leaves are present or cotyledons are present. So based on that we have categorized the seeds into monocot seed and dicot seed based on the number of the cotyledon. We all know these things, just we are recapitulating in this specific slide. Coming to the number of classification of the seed based on the number of cotyledons. Monocotyledonous seed, we all know this is containing a single cotyledon in the seed. Dicotyledonous seed, that means the seed which is containing two cotyledons actually. And polycotyledonous means when the multiple cotyledons are present in any of the seed, then they are considered as the polycotyledonous seed. Now the point is, based on the deposition of the food inside the fruit, obviously we have categorized the seed also. One is albuminous seed. If you see that within the seed the albumin protein portion is there, that means mostly the seed is a single cotyledon containing. So obviously those seeds are known as albuminous seed or endospermic seed. Keep it in your mind, in case of monocot plant, whatever the seeds are present, those are all containing the albumin protein, and for that reason they are commonly known as albuminous seed or endospermic seed. because the endospermic content of the monocot seed is also high. Example, castor bean. If you come to the X-albuminous seed or non-endospermic seed, you can understand or you can see that there is no endospermic content present inside the seed, as well as albumin protein content is also very less. So for that reason the name has been given X-albuminous seed or non-endospermic seed, and it is exclusively found in case of dicot seed, because due to presence of the two cotyledons, endospermic content or albuminous protein content is not necessary for the dicot seed. Example, bean, gram, these are the examples. Coming to the structure of the monocot seed, if you see carefully the monocot seed structure, that is the structure of the maize seed, you can see this is the embryonic part and this is the endospermic part from the front view, and this is the total structure of the seed, where first of all the outer layer is the seed coat or the fruit wall. After that, this specific striped line, it is actually signifying the alluron protein layer. After that, this entire portion, it is actually the endospermic content present within the monocot seed. Already I have told the content of the endosperm is very high, very rich in case of the monocot seed. So for that reason you can see the quantity of the endosperm here. Next, there is a shield like structure. I am talking about this specific covering, and that is commonly known as scutellum. Scutellum is actually the single cotyledon which is present, okay, that is forming the shield like structure, that is known as scutellum. After that, you can see this is the embryo and it is present obliquely. Keep in your mind the upper portion of this embryo which is forming the shoot, that is known as plumule, and the plumule is obviously covered by a covering, and that is known as coleoptile. If you come to the lower portion, obviously this is the portion which is called as radicle, which will be forming the root in future, and that is also covered by a protection or the covering, that is known as coleorhiza. So this is the overall structure of the monocotyledonous seed. Presence of the alluron layer, presence of the seed coat, then there is a presence of rich endosperm, then there is a shield like structure which is actually signifying single cotyledon, that is called as scutellum, and then the embryonic structure present obliquely containing coleoptile and coleorhiza with plumule and radicle. Okay, coming to the next slide, where we can see the structure of the dicotyledonous seed. You can see there are two halves are present in this specific seed structure. This is actually the picture of the gram seed, and both are actually divided by a groove like structure, and obviously there is a seed coat outside of the seed, and there should be one aperture also present, that is commonly known as hilum, through which the pollen tube, actually you can say the hilum is, the aperture is commonly known as micropyle, through which the pollen tube enters during the time of pollination, and at the junction of the micropyle and the groove there is a presence that is called as hilum. Now if you just break down the both halves, you can see this is the embryonal axis present centrally. Lower portion of the embryonal axis is commonly known as radicle, and this radicle is exclusively responsible for producing the root in future, and this is the plumule part, and that is actually forming the shoot. So including these two cotyledons, obviously the structure of the dicotyledonous seed has been formed. Keep it in your mind the difference in between monocot and dicot seed. In case of monocot seed, you have seen the endospermic content, but here there is no endospermic content present. So it can be present very minutely or totally it is absent. Second important point is that in case of monocot seed, you have seen the embryonic portion is present obliquely, but in case of dicotyledonous portion, the embryonic portion is present erectly. Third is that in case of monocot seed, you can see the alluron layer, but in case of dicot seed, there is no alluron layer present. Second, next is that in case of monocot seed, the single cotyledon is present, and that has given a special name, that is scutellum. But in case of dicot seed, obviously two cotyledons are present, so for that reason no special name has been given. Next is that in case of this monocotyledonous seed, the plumule and radicle both are covered by the covering called as coleoptile and coleorhiza respectively. But if you see the dicot seed, obviously in the radical portion and the plumule portion, it is not getting covered by any of the coleoptile and coleorhiza respectively. So these are the 4 to 5 differences we can write in between the monocot and dicot seed structure. I think the differences are very much clear with their structure, because if you see the structure of the monocot and dicot seed very clearly, obviously the differences you can make yourself. Coming to the last part of this chapter, that is regarding the floral formula. what is actually the floral formula? Floral formula is actually the various floral parts or the floral holes, how they are arranged in the flower structure, whatever the number. Okay, based on that we have actually proposed a formula, or the scientists have proposed a formula, and by seeing the formula we can understand what is the actual configuration of the flower, how many floral holes are present, whatever the number of each and every floral hole. So all these things are getting clear. So there are some specific rules and regulations. There are some symbols are also present for remembering. First part is that if the parts of each of the hole are attached, then the number of the parts we need to write, and then we need to keep that number within the bracket. Keep it in your mind, if in any of the floral hole the number, whatever the floral hole are actually containing, so within each and every floral hole, if the parts are attached, on that time the number first of all we need to write, and after that we need to keep that number within a bracket. Okay, if those parts are not associated, obviously we will not be given any of the bracket. If two consecutive holes are attached with each other, then write the first letter of the hole and then give a line on their head, and that line is connecting like a bow, and it is connecting both of the floral hole. Actually we all know, for the floral hole as an example, for calyx we are using K, for corolla we are using C, for androecium we are using A, and for gynoecium we are using G. So these are the symbols or the letters or alphabets we are using commonly for the floral holes. If syncarpous ovary you can see, that means the number of ovaries are kept in the bracket, because the ovaries are actually carpal parts are associated with each other. So 5 carpals are present, so obviously we will be writing like this, G5 within the bracket. And if they are polycarpous, on that time obviously we will be writing like that, G5 only. There will not be any bracket. In case of hypogynous ovary, that means if in case of hypogynous ovary is what? Other floral holes are present below the G. So G is the superior. So obviously there will be writing G bar. Okay. In case of a perigynous ovary, you will keep it in your mind, all of the floral holes are present in the same level. So for that present G hyphen. In case of epigynous ovary, obviously we can understand, or we can keep it in our mind, that the ovary portion is present above. The ovary portion is present inferiorly, and upper portions are present just superiorly. So for that reason we will be giving a lower bar. Okay, that is the epigynous ovary. If the parts of each of the hole is arranged in different cyclic form, then the number of the cycle is represented by the number present bottom that. As an example, calyx, there are two sepals are present in united way, another 2 sepals are present in united way. So that's why it is written 2 plus 2. All 4 are not present in a group. 2 present in a group, another 2 is present in another group. That's why it is written K2 plus 2. Androecium is 9, and all of the 9 portions or 9 parts are associated with each other. That's why the bracket has been given. Then 1 is separate, that's why plus 1 is written. So like that the floral formula are commonly written. Some of the floral formula we can say, and then we can understand properly. So here we will be discussing about 3 plant families. One is Fabaceae, second one is Solanaceae, and third one is Liliaceae. So in case of this plant family we will be seeing the features, and then we will be seeing the floral formula and floral diagram. Keep it in your mind, the Fabaceae, whatever the plants are belonging from family Fabaceae, they are the subfamily of Leguminosae. That means all the legume containing or leguminous plant are belonging from the Fabaceae. Vegetative character is they are trees, they can be present in shrub form, they can be present in herb form, as well as always keep it in your mind, the roots are containing root nodules. Stem is erect or sometimes climber also. As an example, pea. Leaves, if you will see, obviously the arrangement of the leaves are alternate. We all know the meaning of this specific terminology. Alternate means they are present in 180-degree angle and obviously erupting from a single node. Pinnately compound, that means single midrib will be there, and the compound leaf or simple leaf will be present. Leaf base present, that's why it is called as pulvinate leaf. Stipular, that means stipule also is present, and venation is exclusively reticulate venation, that means the mesh-like network can be found. If you see the inflorescence, that is the racemose type of the inflorescence, we all know what is racemose. Flower is bisexual and zygomorphic. Zygomorphic means obviously that if you will just cut the flower in equal two halves, you will not be getting two equal halves because they are bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, because zygomorphic already we have studied about actinomorphic and zygomorphic flower already. So I am just going to show you where we have studied about actinomorphic, zygomorphic. Yes. The flower with all the parts equal, then it is known as actinomorphic. When the parts are unequal, bilateral symmetry, that is zygomorphic. So that only we have actually seen in case of this specific flower. And racemose inflorescence means this one, racemose inflorescence. Clear? Coming to the normal features, flower already we have completed. Calyx portion, that is 5 sepals are present, and gamosepalous, that means sepals are united with each other. Keep it in your mind, the aestivation we can see, that is a valvate or imbricate type of the aestivation. We are not again explaining these terms because already we have studied. Corolla, 5 petals are there. Polypetalous, that means free petals. Papilionaceous, that means papilla like those petals are present, consisting of a posterior petal is standard petal, 2 lateral wing like structure, and 2 anterior. Okay, and 2 anterior petals are actually joining with each other and forming a kill like structure. Kill, K-E-E-L, kill. Kill is actually looking like a kill bone which is present in the bird, breast bone. Okay, so it is looking like that. And the aestivation is vexillary aestivation, already we have discussed about that. Androecium, obviously 10 androecium or 10 filaments are present. Diadelphous, that means 2 different groups will be there. Anther is dithecous, that means 2 lobes are there in the anther. If you see the gynoecium, you can see ovary superior, that means other parts are inferior. So obviously we can say this is the hypogynous ovary containing flower. Monocarpellary, that means single carpel will be there. Unilocular, that means single chamber will be there within the ovary with many ovules, multiple ovules are there. Style is always single. Fruit, if you see, obviously leguminous seed, 1 to many, that means multiple. And keep it in your mind, they are non-endospermic, that exclusively, that means they are dicot. Economic importance, if you see, many plants belonging to the family are sources of pulses. Gram, arhar, seem, moog, soybean, this kind of plants are all coming within the pulses family, and they are all leguminous plant. Edible oils such as soybean, groundnut, these are also coming within this category of leguminous plant or fabaceae. Dye forming plant, that is Indigofera, that is also fiber containing plant, that is sunhemp. Fodder containing plant, that is Sesbania, trifolium, and ornamental plant like lupin, sweet pea, and medicinal plant, that is Mulethi. So these all of the flowers are belonging from this specific, or all of the plants are belonging from the family Fabaceae. Now see very carefully the floral formula and floral diagram. See, this is the sign, whatever you can see, this is for bisexual flower. Okay, so we were discussing about the floral formula. In the floral formula specifically, you can see this is a specific symbol, that means the flower is zygomorphic flower, that means bilateral symmetry can be found. This symbol means bisexual flower. Calyx is present with 5 sepals and all are united, that means gamosepalous, that's why it is kept within a bracket. Then corolla is present and they are subdivided into 3 categories, and they are containing 1 petal, 2 petals, and these last 2 petals, and these last 2 petals are united with each other. Okay, then androecium is coming and they are subdivided into 2 groups. One group is containing 9 filaments and they are kept within the bracket, and another one is 1 only. And last one is the gynoecium, or the ovary portion is superior, other the floral holes are present inferiorly, that's why G bar, the bar is given downward, and it is also 1 in number, that's why it is given. Okay, so next, this is the floral diagram. Just we will try to match this floral formula and floral diagram. Let's see. First of all, this is the dot. It is actually making us understand about the mother axis of this specific floral formula. Bisexual flower, so for that reason these androeciums and gynoecium both are present. Okay, from the figure, obviously from the floral diagram, whether it is actinomorphic or zygomorphic, that will not be clear. Next, calyx, that is 5 in number. If you try to count the number of calyx, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 calyx are there and they are joined with each other, that's why they are kept within the bracket. Then corolla, that means petals. If you see the petals properly, there are 3 groups are present, 1 plus 2 plus 2, and last 2 is present within the bracket. So let's see. This is the first one, this is the 2, and this is the 2, and these 2 are actually united with each other. Okay, so that's why 3 groups are there, 1, 2, 2, and last 2 is actually present within the bracket. Then androecium is 9 total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they are all united. Okay, only 1 is free, so this one is free, that's why A 9 plus 1. Then the gynoecium is present, and the gynoecium is present only 1, that is ovary is only 1, and other parts are inferior, ovary part is superior, that also is not getting clear from this floral diagram. So exclusively the number and how they are present, actually they are present in a group or they are present freely, these things are getting totally clear from the floral diagram. Okay. Next students, we are entering within the family Solanaceae after family Fabaceae. You can see here in the family Solanaceae, it is a large family. It is commonly called as potato family because the potato like plants are belonging from this family, and they are distributed widely in the tropic region, in the subtropic region, as well as in the temperate region also. Whatever the vegetative characters found, the plants are mostly herbs or herbaceous. Shrubs also can be found. Rarely they are small trees. Keep it in your mind, the stem portion which is present, they are herbaceous, rarely woody. They are aerial, that means present above the ground level. They are erect also, as well as they are cylindrical, branched, and they are solid or hollow also. Hairy or glabrous. So hairy also is present, and that is called as glabrous. Underground stem, it is found as well as found in the potato. It is leaves, obviously alternate leaves are present, simple leaves, rarely pinnate compound leaves. Exstipulate, that means stipule is absent totally. Venation is the reticulate venation. Inflorescence, if you will see, solitary, axillary or cymose inflorescence can be found. Flower is exclusively bisexual and actinomorphic, that means they are exclusively showing the symmetry. Calyx, the 5 sepals are present and all are united, that is gamosepalous. Persistent sepals are present, and the aestivation type is the valvate aestivation type. Corolla type is petals are present and they are 5 and they are also united, that is gamopetalous also. Coming to the androecium, that is a male part, stamens are also 5, and keep it in your mind, they are connected with the petals, that's why they are known as epipetalous. Now gynoecium, that is a bicarpellary, that means 2 carpels are actually present, 2 groups of carpels are present actually rather, obligately they are present and placed. Syncarpus, that means carpels are fused. Ovary is superior, other floral parts are inferior. Okay, so obviously you can say it is as a hypogynous ovary. Bilocular, that means 2 chambers are there within the ovary, and placenta is also present, that is swollen with many ovules or multiple ovules, and axile placentation can be seen. Fruit, obviously they are berry or capsule type of the fruit can be found. If you see the seeds, obviously they are endospermic seeds, many in number. Economic importance, many plants are present belonging to this family are the source of the food. As an example, potato, tomato, brinjal, these are all belonging from this Solanaceae family. Spices are also present, as an example chili. Some medicine producing plants are also there as an example belladonna, ashwagandha, these are also belonging from the family Solanaceae. And fumigatory also plant is there, that means from where the fumigation can be produced, that is tobacco. And ornamental plant, as an example petunia, is also belonging from this family. Now let's see the floral formula. This symbol means it is actinomorphic flower, that means fully symmetrical, radial symmetry can be found. This is bisexual symbol. Calyx is present, 5 sepals are present and they are all united, gamosepalous. This is corolla with 5 petals and those are all united. This is androecium with 5 units. Okay, and keep it in your mind, androeciums are connected with the corolla or the petal, that's why they are known as epipetalous. Gynoecium or the female part is 2 in number and they are present in united form. And keep it in your mind, the ovary is superior, other parts are inferior. Okay, coming to the floral diagram, let's see the similarity in between the floral formula and diagram. First of all, actinomorphic flower, we can't see it from here. This is the mother axis of the floral diagram. Bisexual, obviously, because you can see the androeciums are also present and gynoecium is also present. Calyx is total 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this green colored part, and they are united with each other. Okay, that's why they are given 5 within a bracket. Then corolla is also 5. Corolla we can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are also 5 in number and they are all united. Even androeciums are also 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and keep it in your mind, the androeciums are connected with the corolla. So you can see the androeciums are connected at the junction of the corolla, where the corolla or the petals are also getting attached with each other. In that specific point, the androeciums are also attached. So it is actually epipetalous. Next, gynoecium is present here, and it is a hypogynous ovary because the other floral parts are present below the gynoecium, and obviously it is 2 in number. So this is one side, this is another side. So from this diagram, it is getting clear, the floral formula and the floral diagram both are matching with each other. Okay, Coming to the last family, that is the Liliaceae family. Keep it in your mind, Liliaceae family is exclusively or commonly called the lily family. It is the characteristic representative of the monocotyledonous plant. First two, the Fabaceae and Solanaceae, both were dicotyledonous. This is monocotyledonous. Vegetative character, they are perennial, that means they can survive for multiple years, and they are present in herb form with underground bulbs are present, corms are present, rhizomes are present. That means onion, ginger, Amorphophallus, then these all specific type of underground modified version of the stem, these are coming under this specific category. Leaves, mostly they are basal leaves, that means towards the base the leaves are present, alternately present. Linear, exstipulate, that means stipule is absent with parallel venation. Specifically it is found in monocot plant, that's why the venation is parallel venation. Inflorescence, obviously they are solitary or cymose type of the inflorescence can be found. Often umbellate cluster can be found. Umbellate cluster means umbrella like structure they are producing by forming a cluster. Flower is bisexual and actinomorphic. Perianth is found. Unit of the perianth is tepal, so tepals are present, and that is 6, but that is divided into 2 groups, 3 plus 3, often united into tube. Valvate aestivation can be found, and androecium is also there, that is a stamen 6, 3 plus 3 in 2 groups, and obviously androeciums are connected with the petals, that's why they are known as epipetalous. Gynoecium, that is tricarpellary, that means 3 carpels are present. Syncarpus, that means carpels are fused. Ovary is superior, that means other parts are inferior. Hypogynous ovary. Trilocular, that means 3 locular chambers are present with many ovules, and the placentation type of is the axile placentation. Coming to the fruit, fruit is exclusively capsule type or rarely berry type. Seed is endospermic because it is a monocot seed. A monocot plant we are discussing about who are belonging from the family of Liliaceae. Economic importance, that is many plants belonging to this family are good ornamental plants, as an example tulip, gloriosa, these are all ornamental plants. Source of the medicine also there, the aloe vera, that plant is belonging from this family. Vegetables are also there, as an example asparagus. Colchicine is there, Colchium autumnale, colchicine type of the plants are also there. So let's see the floral formula and floral diagram. First of all, this is the symbol of actinomorphic flower. This is bisexual. This is the perianth can be found. Perianth are also containing tepals, and the tepals are divided into 2 groups, 3 plus 3. There is androecium, they are also divided into 2 groups, 3 plus 3. And last one, and keep it in your mind, perianth and androecium both are connected with each other, they are associated, that's why they are epipetalous. Then gynoecium is present, and they are hypogynous ovary, that means other specific parts are present, that means other parts are inferior, and ovary total 3 in number. 3 means 3 chambers you can see within the ovary. So let's see. First of all, this is a bisexual, you can understand by seeing the androecium and gynoecium, that's why it is bisexual. Perianth is 3, okay, 3 perianth is present. So in 2 groups, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So 2 groups are present, 1, 2, 3, outside, inside, 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus 3. They are told as tepals. Now androecium 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are also present in the 2 groups along according to the perianth. So these specific androeciums are actually present, and keep it in your mind, these androeciums are connected with whom? They are connected with the tepals. So for that reason this bow-like structure is given. And gynoecium is also there, and that is, keep it in your mind, that is superior. Other structures or other floral holes are hypogynous, that means below the ovary they are present, ovary, that's why superior. Keep it in your mind, there are 3 chambers are present, these 3 chambers are present and they are all united, okay. So for that reason this specific structure of the floral diagram has come. I think you have understood properly this specific video, whatever the points we have discussed, and I think each and every point is very much clear to all of you, and I think you have enjoyed this video a lot. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Thanks a lot.